Yes, sir. You already see what's going on. You see the title of this program. It's the Hoodie and Headband back with another preview. This time we go into the Big Ten. You see Caitlin Clark go up against Mackenzie Holmes in Indiana. Got number four Indiana. No, whoa. Number four Iowa against number 14 Indiana. Number two against number three in the Big Ten. Big matchup. Iowa took care of business at home first game, but now they're going into Indiana now. Um, Tariq, what are your initial thoughts on this game?
Um, well, Indiana just got smacked today by Illinois.
Yeah,
So, um, not as confident about this being one of those, big conference games as I was, uh, I don't know, maybe Saturday or Sunday.
hmm
But, uh, sometimes you play down the competition. Sometimes other teams just have really good days. And this may be one of those days. So try to take everything with a grain of salt. Everything can change from game to game. So I still expect this to be a really good game.
yeah,
These are two teams that they're not huge fans of each other. I think there's a lot of I don't want to say animosity, but I think there's a healthy dislike between the teams. And I think there's some similarities. Obviously, Indiana doesn't have a Caitlin Clark, but I think there are some similarities in the way that both teams play and what they want to do. So I think that normally match or makes for interesting matchups. So I am interested to see how um, Indiana responds to a loss like they just had to Illinois. Um, Trying to see if Sydney Parrish will be back. I think she played today, but she only played 6 minutes today. So we'll see if she's able to put in any real game time minutes against Iowa. But yeah, I just think both teams really need this win. Um, Iowa needs this win to be able to play for a Big Ten regular season championship against Ohio State in a couple of weeks, and then um, Indiana needs this if they want to play for second, if not first place.
yeah, for sure. I mean, like I mentioned, second and third in the Big Ten standings, only behind Ohio State, if I'm not mistaken. Um, yeah, this is interesting. This is an important game for both teams. Um, definitely as far as Big Ten standings go, definitely as far as just the season itself, Indiana get a win at the crib against Iowa. That's a big win for them, especially this close to March. We're only a couple weeks away from March, and you know what happens in March. Exactly. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I know you talked about how this might not be as big of a matchup because of the loss that Indiana just took, but I mean, hey, this could be a bounce back game for Indiana. Um,
Has to be.
has to be. They have no choice. Hate to say it like that, but kind of is what it is at this point. Um, Questions that I had. Oh, all right. What do you think Indiana's gonna do? Like, how do you think they're gonna play Iowa this summer around?
Um, I mean, they typically put Chloe Moore McNeil on to Caitlin, and there's been some times where she's been able to bother her.
She
Um,
tough.
yeah, but it's got to be the team defense. You can't just guard with one person.
Yeah.
Um, and obviously, Indiana hasn't done a fantastic job of that in the past. And I mean, who can you say has done a fantastic job with that? But I mean, you just got to try to keep the ball out of her hands, make shots tough, and that's easier said than done because you know even if she doesn't always have the ball in her hands, she finds a way to get at least a shot off that she feels comfortable taking. If not, already has the ball in her hands. And I think one of the things that people don't really think about, which makes her so deadly, is the transition game. Like,
hmm
um, I would love to know how many points they get off of either outlet passes or her just pulling up and shooting in transition because that's where a lot of her shots come from. Like, she doesn't typically shoot logo threes or deep threes and in the rhythm of the like a half court offense. But if you're coming down in transition and you're backpedaling and you keep backpedaling, she's just going to stop and shoot it because you're not going to be able to stop and recover in time. So I think limiting transition buckets is huge. I don't know if they'll allow the defense to be any kind of physical with her. That's also a big key. But honestly, you just got to hope she's missing some shots, because if she goes for 30 or 40, then it's going to be a really long night. But really, you just gotta try to contain her to as much as possible and decide if you want her to be a passer or if you want her to be a scorer. You can't let her be both. If you let her be both, you have very little chance of winning this game.
Oh my goodness, yeah. You can't focus on her too much. I mean, we've seen how that's happened against certain teams throughout her college tenure where they focus too much on her, and next thing you know, her supporting cast is, getting 10, 15 because of the double teams or box and ones that they're putting on her, or they don't put as much focus on her and they get killed for it.
Yep.
So I mean, you really gotta pick your poison when you're playing against CC now. Like it's yeah, you
Honestly,
really gotta pick your poison. How you think Caitlin's gonna come out in this game? Like, you think she comes out and look, I'm trying to run this record up, I'm scoring as much as I can. Like, is that one of those type of games, or it's like, oh, this is a tough matchup. Like, I'm doing what it takes to win here. Like, I gotta play my game, but at the same time, like others around are gonna have to step up because of the focus is gonna be on her.
I don't think she'll come out gunning like she was the last game.
Mhm.
Because she still has a record to go for. She's only 99 points away from Pete Maravich's D1 record. So
Yeah, and I think she'll get that within the next couple of games got left.
yeah, I was about to say she'll get that before the regular season is over,
So
probably.
she get 30 each game. Here on out, she good.
So she'll be close to that, but I don't think she'll be necessarily be chasing that in this game. I just feel like I think Caitlin is always going to be aggressive, so I don't think there's ever going to be a game where she's like, all right, I got
My record's hers,
a
bro.
little bit. But I do think she likes playing against teams like Indiana, like
Mhm.
teams that is in, she grew up in Iowa. She's from Iowa, so she likes playing the Indianas, the Ohio States, the Michigans. Like, she lives for those games. Like, obviously she likes the big games against non-conference teams, but she really lives for and um, wakes up for those road games, those road Big Ten games. She really wakes up for. Like, Ohio State game was a big game.
Mhm.
Uh, at Michigan, it's
Mhm.
always a big game. And then, of course, this game at Indiana is always going to be a big game, too. But I do think Mackenzie Holmes is going to have to be, she's going to show the why she's one of the best players in the country in this game.
Oh, for
Like,
sure.
these are the games where your best players step up and show other teams and other players, like, I'm here to dominate. Like, Mackenzie Holmes is a player that has the ability to dominate any game that she's in, but there are games where she doesn't. And it's just
Yeah.
like, you came back another year. You
Yeah.
you could have been in the W, but you came back another year because you wanted to finish the way you wanted to, right? I think they lost to Miami last year,
I
round of
was
32. Um, so obviously, round of 32 wasn't the way they wanted to end off. But I'm gonna just be honest: if y'all don't get a good seed here, because after the loss today, they fell out of the top four or the top 16. So they fell into what, a 5, 6 seed. So that's a 12 matchup. And then if you win that game, you play a 4. So, that's not an easy road. And that's not a for sure that you get out and get into the Sweet 16. So this is a game that if you win this, you jump back into that top 16 and you don't have a super easy road, but you at least get a game at home
yeah.
as a instead of on the road. So it really just depends on how Mackenzie Holmes comes out and plays, and then the guards. Sarah Scalia, she's going to be key in this game. They've got 4 players that shoot either right under 40% or 40% from 3. So, the 3-point shot is always the key with an Iowa team and an Indiana team. So, they shoot 41% as a team. So, if the 3-point shot is going and Mackenzie Holmes is being aggressive, then I think Indiana's got a good chance of winning this game.
Yeah, I believe so too, man. Like you mentioned, Mackenzie Holmes being one of the best players in the nation. This is a big game. This is when winning matters the most, Like these games down the stretch make or break your season. I mean, granted, you still got conference tournaments, and conference tournaments do help out in terms of seeding and help out in terms of getting a bid for the big dance. But you got to get it done in the regular season too. Regular season matches are what people look at the most and look at in terms of terms of win percentage, wins against certain teams, wins against like win differential, um, whatever. That they look at all of that. And Iowa on the calendar for Indiana. I mean, hey, what better chance but to prove that you guys should be worthy of being one of the top teams in the nation than than a game against a team like Iowa at this point in the season.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Um, don't think I got any other questions. You got anything else you want to address before we make a prediction?
Um, do you think this is kind of something that we're going to talk about on our actual episode for the week as well?
Mm-hmm.
Scale of 1 to 10, just so we can talk about it. We can elaborate on it more in the other episode. But scale of 1 to 10 for both of these teams. What are the chances of them getting to an Elite Eight, Final Four?
1 being what easiest, and 10 being
Or 1 being like
1 would be like least likely,
1 being like
20
definitely
being
not
very likely.
getting there, 10's like for sure getting there.
Okay, so for Iowa, I would say 8.59. I don't want to say 10. I don't want to say that they're a guarantee. Nobody's really a guarantee. I mean, the only person that's shown they've been a guarantee has been South Carolina. Hate to bring them up in this conversation. I want to seem like a homer here, but they are undefeated. So, and then everybody 2 through 10, well, 2 through 25 is switched around since beginning of the season. So, but yeah, no, I would say Iowa at this current moment, I would say they'll probably be like 9, like very likely they'll make an Elite Eight. In terms of Indiana, though, Elite Eight, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt and say 6. I want to say 5 because 5 would just be like
In the middle.
in the middle. Is like, yeah, they got it. That's like a 50-50 chance. But like 6 is like, I would rather 6 is like they're more than likely they can make a Elite Eight.
Okay. Just interested to see where your head was at with both of these teams. I feel like
What are your thoughts on that?
Indiana's a team that they definitely have the capabilities, but it's like from game to game, what can you expect
Mm,
in a 1-game situation?
mhm.
Especially going what happened last year, where Miami was a good team, but it wasn't like. And granted, Miami ended up getting to the Elite Eight, so it wasn't like. Or not, sorry, they got to the Sweet 16. So I don't think they won their Elite Eight game. No, they did.
No,
They
they
did
got to the Elite Eight. They lost though.
beat Villanova, right?
Yeah, they beat Villanova and then they played again and then they lost to LSU.
Yeah, yeah, because Ohio State played Maryland. I mean, Maryland played Carolina.
Maryland played South Carolina, yeah.
Here we go to the Sweet 16 again. But yeah, so Miami wasn't like a super talented team. They just had a bunch of players that were going to make you work. And
Right.
not to say that Indiana doesn't want to, but
Like oh my gosh, what's the girl's name? Jasmine, Jasmine something, bro.
trying to see if we can remember or not.
Oh my gosh, bro. Feels like I feel like her last name starts with a D.
It doesn't.
What's her name, Tariq?
Oh, what's her name, bro?
I'm asking you what's her name, bro. Come on, you know.
What's her name, bro? You know it. You just overthinking it.
I know I'm overthinking it. I'm not good at why I'm overthinking it. Let's see. They play. Hold on, let me just do this. Do 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 do. Roster. Jasmine Roberts plays like that. I don't know. I'm sorry. It's just too much basketball, bro. Like,
Yeah, they had like 3 or 4 guards that were really giving the problems. I remember Dwyer,
yeah,
um, obviously one of the Cameron twins. Not both of them. One was on the bench.
right. I'm gonna say
Haley was Haley was the one that played. Hannah was one of them.
okay.
But their guards really gave them issues.
Yeah,
Um, and really just teams that are gritty, make you work for every point, make you work for every bucket,
yeah,
make you work every time down the court, and just let you walk up and get comfortable shots. And obviously, we don't know what Indiana's, matchups will be at this current moment, but I think from game to game, they show different things. Like they show that they can play with the top teams, but then when they play the top teams, they don't always necessarily match up well. So I am interested to see how they finish the season. I would say they're probably in that like 5 to 6 range in terms of chances of getting to an Elite Eight. Um, if they're able to get a top 16 seed, but if they lose this game, they probably fall even lower to like a 6, 7.
yeah.
Then you play in a 10 seed, and then what? You play a 10 seed, and then you play a 2. So yeah, good luck with that.
No bueno.
Yeah, so they really need this win because you're not gonna get a ton from beating teams in the Big Ten that you're already ahead of. If that makes sense.
Yeah,
Like
obviously,
there's
yeah,
there's a top 3 or 4 in the Big Ten, and then after that it's like you're kind of beating up on teams that are lower than you, and then you got an ACC where all those teams are right there. The SEC with those teams outside of South Carolina and LSU are all right there, and then you got the Pac-12 where all those teams are right there. So beating those teams, like those conferences beating each other in the conference tournament will mean something.
yeah.
But if they're beating like Minnesota and teams like that, like obviously if they beat a Michigan State, that'll help them. But
Oh, so you got Nebraska and Michigan State, really?
yeah, so really it's like what win in the tournament or in a Big Ten tournament will get you higher or will get your ranking higher. You have to beat Iowa or Ohio State.
Yeah,
So either way, you're gonna have to beat one of them to end your season for you to get, event like for you to get a good spot because with as many good teams that are in the country right now,
huh.
like you look at the teams that are on the bubble and you're like, those are some good like put them in a 7-8 and they could win their game. So it's like you don't want to fall in that 7 and have to play a 10. And then if you're able to get past that 10, you got to play a 2 seed. I'm just saying you want it. No, nothing is going to be easy, but you want the easiest possible route.
Oh, for
So
sure.
they definitely need to get one of these big wins over the next couple of weeks. But I would say they're like a 5 or 6, and I would also say Iowa's like a 9. As the season's gone on, I've seen some reasons for why they can make another run, but we will elaborate on that on the episode.
For sure. All right, prediction time. Who wins this game?
Indiana needs it. So does Iowa, but
Yeah.
Indiana probably needs it more. But I'm still go Iowa on the road.
Yeah, I got a feeling I was gonna win this too. I mean, I know we talked up, and we do this all the time. We talk big about the other team, the underdog winning and how much of a game it would mean if they do win, and then it's just like, yeah, but
We didn't do it last week because last week we were like, yeah. So I think because of
I
that,
think last week we went opposite, didn't we?
well, I thought Notre Dame was gonna get it, I think, and then Notre Dame lost. So
Yeah.
and then we both went Oregon State, I think. Or did you go USC?
I don't remember going Oregon State.
Maybe you went USC and I went Oregon
I don't
State.
know. We can watch. Well, not watch. That's not even out. I dropped the ball on that one. I know.
Yeah, but
Yeah, we talked about that on the show this earlier this week. So yeah.
yeah, I got Iowa. I just
I
think
got Iowa. I got Iowa too, man. I mean, I'm not betting against Caitlin Clark.
I was gonna say it's hard to bet against Caitlin, and I'm not saying
It's Caitlin Clark, man.
this.
She
It's
got
got
two dropping 45 too, bro. Yeah, I'm not betting against Caitlin Clark.
it's got to be certain teams like Iowa State. I
Yeah,
mean, not Ohio State.
Ohio State. Yeah,
Like teams like that, teams that are like they got a bunch of players that can give you 15 to 20. I'll take that. I'll take them because they're just out like that. At that point, the talent is just outmatched. But in a game like this, the talent isn't that far apart, in my opinion.
oh,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, Caitlin McKenzie, obviously there's a little bit of gap there, but Caitlin and McKenzie are like the top 2, and then after that, it's not like, oh, this team is way higher or this team is way higher. It's really even match. So it's really like which one of the 2 best players is gonna step up, and it's hard to say that Mackenzie Holmes is gonna be better than Caitlin Clark. Now, if she is, hey, more power to her. I'll love to watch it, but I'm not gonna bet on that happening. So I'm gonna go with Iowa. And
Yeah,
Hannah Stone
as well, yeah.
either. So it's not going to be easy for Mackenzie Holmes. Hannah Stokey is a very physical. I'll just say that she's very physical.
Yeah. Yeah, but you got it. Our preview for Iowa, Indiana going out tonight. Y'all know where to catch the game, but if not, 8 o'clock on Peacock. And yeah, man, thank you guys for tuning into another one of our previews. We'll catch you guys later on this week with another full episode and another preview for the weekend ends.
Appreciate y'all.